I think everyone is struggling a little bit with the themes. We're going to have to work a bit on those themes. I am a little bit concerned, but it's easily fixable. I think people maybe put too much in terms of content into their theoretical framework and then ran out of words for their theme. So we might have to look at that. You'll see that I've changed one or two titles, which is not the end of the world. I didn't penalize for that. The other stuff that is a bit of concern, and yeah, Amber and Mads, your writing is immaculate. Whitney, you need to be a little bit. Sorry, can I just, guys, I'm honest. We're part of a team here. Whitney, you need to be a little bit careful in terms of your editing. Takwana, also a little bit careful in terms of your editing. Guys, and just remember, in terms of the overall submissions, please listen to the recordings, because I think I'm having to do feedback on stuff that I had discussed several times in the recordings, and I find that quite superfluous. So remember, we have got the recordings for a purpose. We discuss things in the recordings, and the intention of those recordings is for you to listen to those in conjunction with you working through the research and working through the slides and writing it up. So little things that could have been avoided would have easily been avoided, that literally is going to cause us headaches into the future if you just had listened to the actual recordings. But yeah, generally a pretty good first submission. And I like how you guys have embraced the notion of jumping into postgraduate research. I really like how you guys have hit the ground running. I really like that. I think there's nothing that's not fixable. There's nothing that's not fixable. I have suggested that one or two people get just a proofreader. I think a proofreader will make a big difference for some people. I can't remember whether those people are on this call, but a proofreader will make a big difference, guys, for some people, because I really am not a language editor. That's not my job. I don't have the time to language edit, and it really isn't not what I'm supposed to do, because I'm not supposed to be the supervisor. I'm supposed to just essentially be the lecturer, and you're supposed to carry on your own. But I think we know that I'm not a normal lecturer in terms of any way, shape, or form. Submission 2, any questions around submission 2 at this stage? Any real headaches, any fundamental problems that you foresee, that you've encountered? Okay, that's wonderful news, Amber. I suppose with the kinds of submissions that you guys have due, you haven't had time to spend on submission 2, or is that a bit of a dangerous assumption? Yeah, I'm glad, Madeline. Okay, Am's also haven't started. I'm glad. The lecture I have to download and upload again, so also haven't started yet. Okay, guys, that's fine. Tawana, that's fine. Yeah, guys, it will happen. When is this due? Is it next Thursday or Wednesday? Do you remember? I don't track submission dates. That's not really my job. Next Thursday. Oh, you've got plenty time. You have plenty time, and I think we've done proper, solid, foundational stuff. My problem is that after tonight, I won't have a gap to see you guys again. I won't have a gap to see you guys again. But I think we've clarified every one of the elements. I'll go through the submission again, but I'll look at it from the slides perspective, and we'll go through this fairly quickly because I think everyone has a sense. Oh yeah, no, they have to be. They have to be, Whitney. I am so overwhelmed. Unfortunately, yeah, I got hit with bronchial pneumonia, and I didn't realize how much it took out of me. But I'm under severe pressure to get the marking done. Yeah, I've marked a good few already. So if you want, you can sneak onto VC. I know that it's still hidden, but it has to be done. If it's not done by Friday, I will be in big trouble. So it will definitely be done. But you don't have to worry about that. You can continue working. Please don't think that that has to be done before you start. Can I just quickly have a glance here? Sorry. I just want to open my timetable here. Sorry, I don't want you guys to see that because there's stuff on there that I've put in. Sorry, guys. I just want to close the door to the gym door. Shucks. Guys, can I? Crumbs. Crumbs. Guys, can I please ask a huge favor? It's my youngest kid's birthday next Wednesday. Can I please see you guys for this on Tuesday night? I ideally would like to move this and the other one. What have you guys got on Tuesday night between 6 and 8:30?
So we don't have any lectures on a Tuesday, but I think this will help us a lot because then if we do have queries, we can raise it then Tuesday and work on it Wednesday to submit Thursday.
Yeah. It's my baby's 17th, and he is the Lord Lamiki. So, Mads, can you just put it on the groups, please, if you don't mind? I'll also put it on VC Learn, but if we can get it out earlier, that would make a hell of a difference. So I just need to move my full-time class from Tuesday. That gives me Wednesday night off. Guys, yeah, I would ideally thank you and be grateful forever. Yeah, I know the 13th is my baby's birthday.
I'm just going to confirm. So it will basically be Wednesday's lectures just on Tuesday. So SML 6 to 7 and then REMY is 7:30 to 8:30.
Yeah, so Wednesday becomes Tuesday. That's it.
Yeah, happy. Okay. Thank you.
As it is, we'll just move them across and just say, guys, yeah, it's my kid's birthday. I'm sorry, but I'm not working on Wednesday. And I have an absolute full day on Wednesday. So I'm lecturing every hour on Wednesday. Okay. Are you a star? Yeah, I'll invite everyone for cake. Do you live in Maritzburg, Whitney? You're most welcome to come for cake. Otherwise, I'll just WhatsApp everyone cake. Okay. No, I'll WhatsApp you some cake. Don't worry. Okay, guys, let's do this. My apologies. You have such an unprofessional lecturer. I think it's a great idea. Let's do this. Okay, so yeah, titles we've spoken about. I've seen significant improvements in terms of titles. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the title thing again. I think everyone has their titles wrong, as their titles right. Which you'll see that I've taken quite a few words out of your title. I've made it a lot more simplistic. So I think it was your title that I changed. You'll very clearly see what I've done. I'm sure it was yours. Guys, so the background will tell us what we're looking at researching. Be very, very careful that we are focused around the issue that we're trying to address. Remember, in terms of the introduction, it's that attention grabbing introduction and then the transition into the actual discussion. Guys, can I just say, I mean, yeah, some of you did that really well. Mads, you did that really, really well, where you transitioned in your first assignment from your attention grabbing bit straight into the actual essence of what this research is about, why this research is important. And it really is about convincing the reader that this is worth reading, that this is worth having a look at. And that transition is important. Grab my attention and then have that transition sentence into your research. The problem statement. Now, remember, if you don't get A and C right, I'm not going to worry too much about it. But B is the deficiency. Please show me the deficiency. What is the gap between the ideal and what is the reality now? The reality, the deficiency is what is the headache that we're trying to, well, Mads, and I did say to you guys, proper introductions, and research has shown that introductions are written up to 10 times to get it right. The introduction to me is such an essential element of your final report. So I like the idea that you sweated through that, okay? I like the idea that you took a while to get there. Sweating is not bad when it comes to that introduction, but it was bloody well done. I think, Ams, you got that really well done as well, okay? So in terms of part B, what is the issue? What is the issue of concern? And you have to write it as a problem, because if you don't have a problem, you don't have a reason to do research. It's as simple as that. What is the deficiency? What is the headache? What has brought us to the point that we want to solve something? So the idea is, what is the gap in terms of the world where we are now, and indicating to us that this is the reason why it's actually worth our time, energy, and effort to do research. If the word count allows you, and remember, the word count is a bugger, because part B, please also, before I forget, that you have to support it with discussions around, or please support it with references to existing literature. Don't just state opinions as fact. So you have to have references in there, and extracts and comments about specific literature that supports your concern here. The one thing I also wanted to say from the first submission, guys, please don't use direct quotes. Nothing at this level is stated in such a profound way that you have to have direct quotes. I don't want to see direct quotes. I want to see everything paraphrased. I want to see absolutely everything paraphrased. I don't want to see any direct quotes. Okay, if everyone could at least agree with that. I don't want to see any direct quotes. So the reality, the gap, the deficiency, the headache that we're dealing with, part A would be the ideal. Part C is how we're going to go about in this particular bit of research. Guys, if you don't have enough word count, only focus on part B. Right.
Sorry,
the research, yeah, go for it, Matt.
Just quickly on the problem statement, so I understand that it consists of 3 parts. When you're actually writing it out in your assignment, is it like one paragraph that leads into each other, or is it 3 separate paragraphs under the heading of the problem statement? I'm just
I
trying to
don't mind if
understand
you have
how it
3
comes
paragraphs. The one thing that I did give feedback on your first submission, Madeline, is that you need to separate. Your paragraphs are too long. You need to give me paragraphs. You'll see my feedback to you is that your paragraphs are way too long. So you need to split into paragraphs. You know, if you have a hellish long paragraph, I'd rather see part A, part B, and part C as separate paragraphs. I don't want to see those words written. I don't want to see the ideal, the reality, and the consequences written either. So, yeah, I think just to make it a bit clearer, it might be easier to have them as separate paragraphs. Your paragraphs are very, very long, but you'll see it in my feedback. Okay. It's not a criticism, it's just some feedback. It really is just some feedback. And I think you know that your paragraphs are hellish long.
Yeah, I think now that I look at it, because like I said, I've never done research before,
yeah,
but now when I'm looking at my assignment, again, I can see that why we do it in the 4 parts, because otherwise, yeah, it would be problematic.
My gosh,
but
it's like somebody's taken a roller and just rolled over the paint. I mean, but that is such a minor criticism compared to the quality of your submission. My goodness me. But I'm now, I think for me, it's now moving from that sort of 80 to 90% submission. For me, that's the focus at this stage. It's that kind of, how do we take it to the 90s? How do we take 90 to 95 type thing? Okay. Guys, in terms of qualitative studies, is anyone doing qualitative? I might as well discuss it. Remember the central question and then the sub-questions. The central question, always the overarching question in terms of writing the overarching question. Just do this, don't save. Remember, I did discuss this already. Your overarching question there, and that overarching question, you need to ask yourself the question, what is the broadest question I can ask about this particular topic? And then your clarifying questions. So you'll have, I think, about 3 or 4 clarifying questions for those of you that are doing qualitative. Please remember, in terms of your clarifying questions, I think, Amber, you're doing qualitative. You will focus, if you can, on the processes related to your overall question. Yeah, I think it's you that's doing on marketing. Is that right, Amber? I can't. No, you're doing on marketing and the COVID products. So yeah, I remember your processes. And please remember, oh my gosh, that looks messy, but yeah, so your sub questions. Those sub questions, you'll also remember the qualitative people become your research objectives. Remember to write it as that. So your research question 1 becomes objective 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. Remember also, guys, only what and how questions, not why questions at all. If you give me a why question, I'm going to have the heebie-jeebies. What and how questions, and also no closed-ended questions. So no questions that start with do, or questions that end in essentially yes or no answers, or questions that can be addressed with yes or no answers. Okay. Right, not going to go through that. I think you guys have got it. And I also think, Amber, you had sorted yours out with me online. Please remember that we are doing phenomenology as part of the specific research tradition within our qualitative research. There is an example of a phenomenology question, a phenomenological question. Remember, it's about experiences, and that is what we're doing in the qualitative research that we're doing here. It's about people's experiences and changes in experiences in purchasing specific items post-COVID and during COVID, or specifically post-COVID. Please note, do not use why. Why indicates relationships. I am not looking at cause and effect. You're not doing quantitative research. Quantitative research essentially will look at cause and effect, will look at variables. I'm not going to allow why questions. The moment I see a why question, I'm going to have the heebie-jeebies with you. I would use another term, but I'm being recorded, okay? So do not use why questions. And obviously, I'm talking to the qualitative researchers. The quantitative people, remember, guys, you'll have one research question. So one research question. That research question will indicate a relationship. You'll talk about your independent and your dependent variable. Your independent variable, obviously, the thing that we manipulate. Your dependent variable, the thing that is impacted. And then you'll have your hypotheses. You'll have your null hypothesis. And I'm trying to write with a mouse there. Oh, that's supposed to be a 0. And you'll have your alternative hypothesis. Your alternative hypothesis, or your alternate hypothesis, indicates a relationship. You will not have objectives. And remember, if you are doing qualitative research, I don't want to see hypotheses and rubbish like that. I want to see research questions and research objectives as your headings. If you are doing quantitative research, research question and hypotheses. Remember, we spoke about the notion of the golden thread. No dramas, no confusion. I think everything is straightforward at this stage. Please also remember, guys, that if you're doing quantitative, to go look online to see how hypotheses are written, but it normally indicates a relationship or no relationship, your null hypothesis. Okay, I'm not going to go through that. And the aim of the study, it is a declarative sentence, very clear, concise, what you want to achieve. I like this one here. The aim of this paper is to. If you start with those words, you cannot end up in the wrong place. So if you write, the aim of this paper is to. The purpose of this paper is to. This paper will discuss the, I don't like that one. My reason for writing this paper is to. You cannot end up in the wrong place. Be careful of the second one. Generally, you are going to risk using the wrong word there. I honestly will stay with that one, or the purpose. Remember, we're not going to have twofold purposes. Any questions on that one? Yes, and I know it's going to be boring that everyone uses the same words, but we are pressed for time. We are pressed for time, and we don't have time for fanciness at this stage. Justification, why is this relevant? Essentially saying to us, what would happen if we left this alone? Why is it important that we look at this? if we left this problem alone, what would the consequences be? It really is, what is the need? Why is it important? Why should we do this? I think of the need of the way we use benefits. Often people don't look at benefits in the relationship with motivation. People just give benefits. We don't even know if benefits actually motivate and what role it plays. And that's why we have to look at that specific bit of research. In terms of the purchase of post-COVID items, I mean, we could be advertising rubbish that no one's interested in anymore. Okay, population, I did this last night. I added in these slides. Yeah, that group of individuals, and we go from the broad, so anyone that essentially shares a particular characteristic within the research. The population, we need to look at our target population. So we start narrowing it down, and then the population that we want to access. Target population, yeah. So we start indicating our population parameters. Guys, please look at the description over here, and it's an indication of how we transition between the different groups of individuals there. Yeah. So remember, when we write up our population bit, that would be those would be the elements that you need to include. And we can only really see where you're struggling when you start writing this up. So I'm trying to not put pressure on you at this stage, because you've had a bloody long day with this first assignment and my confusion that I created with the damn assignment. Okay. Guys, and then positivism in terms of your sampling. Remember, I said you'll always use probability sampling, which means that everyone has an equal opportunity to be selected, to be part of the research. Please also stick with random sampling. Don't get fancy and use the other options that are available in the textbook. Random sampling is as simple as sticking names in a hat and pulling the name out of the hat. You select a representative sample, and you essentially randomly select those that will take part in the study. Now remember, this is still going to be your quantitative research. Your research design, remember, we are going to look at a survey. Because we're testing theories, we are using existing scales. I did remind you guys yesterday that you are going to mention the scales that you use. Please don't forget to say that I'm using this scale and I'm using this scale. That essentially allows me to not have to do the validation processes. It obviates the need for us to do the validation processes. I need to see that, guys. We're being efficient. We're not going to go through that Cronbach's, whatever the statistical statistical process is to prove validation. We're using existing scales because they've already been validated. Data collection, there is your survey. Your survey, guys, remember, it's going to be on Google Forms. You're going to take questions from existing scales. I wouldn't get too far beyond 5 questions per scale. I would separate my independent and dependent variable in the scales, and I would simply plug the questions from the existing scales in there. Please make sure that when we see each other next Wednesday, that you have got something. I think you have to submit your survey in the second submission. Can somebody help me with that? I can't remember the rubric offhand. Matt, do you have to have your scale as part of the submission? I'm bloody sure you have to. Do you guys have to submit your scale, Amber?
Quickly double check, but I don't. As far as I understand, I don't think it was part of this one, but I'm quickly looking on my side.
Okay. Yeah, let's check quickly. Okay, just have a look. But even guys, please just start thinking about it.
So I think would it be
Yeah.
would it be part of
Mm.
this section of the assignment where it says draft a research instrument that you would use to
Yeah,
implement the
that's it.
approach? Is
That's
it
it.
that one?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
then yes,
So
it is
I
needed.
need you to, yeah, almost have your links available, your Google links available so I can glance at it. But remember, you're not going to kill yourself doing that because you're simply going to steal out of those existing questionnaires.
So, a quick question. So, are we just should we attach it like an addendum, or should we just put the link to it?
Oh, you're going to have to attach it as an addendum, Whitney, because I did say to you that I have to run it via an ethics committee. Now, I'm not even going to try and have an ethics committee in distance. I don't want to comment too much because I am being recorded. I'll just run it with my Westville students as part of that ethics committee. Okay.
And then I just want to make sure I'm on the right page. So basically, we're just drafting this questionnaire. It's not going to be filled. That will be in the next part.
Oh no,
That we
you'll be
submit.
in big trouble if you go and talk to your respondents. It's drafting it. All I want to
Okay.
see
Okay.
is it attached, but I need to see the link in class on Tuesday. Okay, so that I can let you know whether you're on track. Okay, guys, please do me a favor and talk extensively amongst each other. This is a team bloody effort. Please remember me saying that. Okay, go, Madeline.
So just a quick one on the 5 questions. So that would be the 5 questions relating to your scale, but then you'd obviously still have the other questions relating to the like
Demographics.
person's details that's captured,
Yeah.
that's completing the form.
Yeah, the demographics. And then please also do me a favor, guys, put in some kind of line that says by, something that says by ticking this box or something, you give consent to being part of this research process. Okay, we need to make sure that people they give consent, and then we'll say that the full consent is available, and please sign the full consent form, and there'll be another link to where they can sign the full consent form on Google Docs. Okay, don't worry too much about that, but we'll get to that. So we'll set up another. You've got the participant consent form or the respondent consent form. I shared that with you guys. My suggestion is, because we want people to sign that, but you can't do that yet. But you need to include that as an annexure or as an appendix in your submission. But people will have to sign that if they take part, but we'll just have that as a link on Google Docs. And by ticking that, they acknowledge that they've seen it. Okay. Does that make sense? So you'll see in terms of the forms that I shared, okay, that makes sense. Guys, please chat to each other. Okay, I absolutely love the way you guys jumped in today in the no, come on, Amber, don't ask silly questions now. I'm going to throw things at you. Of course you don't use scales. There's no diplomacy here. Don't irritate me on it. Oh my
Sorry, sir.
goodness me. Yes, go, Mads.
This is really the last one tonight, but so just a quick one on the forms that we're gonna like include as an annexure. Would we then under the data collection or under research design say that we're making use of forms and then say please refer to annexure like whatever for the breakdown of the form?
To the survey, yeah.
I mean to the survey, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's fine. No, that's fine. All the question there. Amber, remember you're going to do an interview. You're not going to do scales. No, don't worry, Amber. I pick on everyone equally. You should be shaking your head right now, though. This is not the place for softies, though. Okay, guys, and then talk about the way we look and assure quality. Okay, and there is a data analysis method for you. Right, interpretivism. Remember, we are looking at understanding people's perceptions, experiences, and this is your focus, obviously, Amber. Population and sampling, always going to be non-probability sampling. People don't have an equal opportunity to be selected. I would use purpose of sampling, and where you approach specific individuals in your organization. Also remember, Amber, and I think you as well, Madeline, you guys need your gatekeepers letters signed by the time you hand in your document. I need to see those gatekeepers letters signed. Okay. I would combine purpose of sampling with snowball sampling. So am I in the wrong class? Because Kim, no, but what is Kim? She's got her timing wrong. Mads, please, yeah, for part 2. Madeline, just answer Kim. She's in class now. I don't know what's going on with Kim. She's got her timing completely wrong. She's not in this class. Silly Billy. Okay, guys, so remember, oh, sorry, not guys, AMS. So you're looking at purposive, snowball. So umbrella is non-probability, purposive, and snowball. Okay.
I just wanted to ask,
Go.
yesterday,
Yeah.
yesterday you spoke about Madeline doing the gatekeeping letter because she's
You
doing
as
a
well.
specific business.
Oh no, you're not going inside your organization though. Yours is not
Yeah.
about your organization. No, don't worry about your gatekeepers.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you can laugh at me now. Okay.
Thank you.
Point, because I've just pointed and laughed at you. Okay, remember that's your focus there. It gives you a nice description of what you want to do. That phenomenology, ignore the rest of the rubbish there. Okay. Right, and then your data collection, you are doing open-ended interviews using, I would use semi-standardized questions. Your data collection, open-ended. I've given a lot of descriptions here. You're going to do either online or face-to-face. It really depends on you. And you'll see your interview protocol. So what you have to provide me with is a heading, instructions, etc. And then we need to look at questions. Now, this is where you take your research questions and you turn them into interview questions. The rules about those interview questions: open-ended, what and how questions. This is going to be a little bit more difficult than the guys stealing questions from existing scales. And you and I would start putting together the questions you're going to ask your research participants. You and I need to spend a bit of time together on Tuesday. Okay. But I would arrive with some of the stuff. Use one of the theories. Use one of the theories from your theoretical framework, the essential elements from that theory as the framework for your questions. Okay, so use the key elements from your main theory in your theoretical framework as the frame for your questions. Okay. But that use your main theory around marketing as the framework for your questions. Okay, and it'll make sense when we chat next week. Data analysis, yeah, you'll see. You won't use words like validity, etc. You'll use credibility, transferability, conformability, but your keyword is always going to be trustworthiness. The quantitative people, you will not use these words. Okay. There is a data analysis method. We don't worry about it. All you do now is simply describe it. We'll discuss the headaches around that when we get it. This is a pain in the neck. Okay. Yeah, and ethics, I did say, guys, that this is not in your rubric, but I need to see this, guys. I have to get you past an ethics committee, and I'm expecting to see your ethical considerations. Don't worry about limitations. Just put ethical considerations, okay? Guys, that is the set of slides. Based on what I've seen in your first submission, I think you guys are going to be aces. I really think you guys are going to be aces. Yeah. Taquana, you're so quiet, man. Go. Who's talking?
Madeline again.
Sorry, man.
I just wanted to ask with regards to the gatekeeper's letter. There's two sections there where they have the tick boxes. So the one is regarding the anonymousness of the company.
Anonymity.
Yes. Yeah. So in that sense, is it important or relevant whether the company gives its name or not for my studies?
No, we don't use names at all. So don't.
Okay, so it would be anonymous.
They can sign as the company. We're also happy if they want to sign NDAs, because I've had to sign non-disclosure agreements and things like that. So if they ask you to sign an NDA and non-disclosure, you can. But we will never mention the company's name. We will always keep anonymity in terms of the company's name. We also keep anonymity in terms of the respondents and the participants.
Okay, perfect. Okay. And then the last one was just conditions concerning publication of the report, saying will it be available on the IE repository immediately after complete or after immediately after complete?
It will be available after it's marked and completed, but it should be loaded onto the repository. However, once it's marked, it will go back to you, and I would suggest that you make it available to your company. Okay.
Okay, happy. Thank you. Then
I think it's only reasonable that they see the results of your research, because they're opening their doors to you. And I think if you've done a decent job, you need to almost boast to them and give them the feedback. They deserve that. Okay. No, I think it's and I know it's going to be fantastic. So I think it is worth giving that back. Okay. Taquana, you're very quiet, and I don't like that.
It's not that I'm quite sad. It's just that I'm struggling a lot. But I promise I'll pull my socks up. Like, it's been a while.
What are you struggling with, man?
To understand how to do the whole research, because I haven't done it in years. But yeah, I'll just Google more and listen to other videos so I can understand.
Listen to the recordings. Listen to the recordings. Look at the textbooks I shared with you guys. Remember, I made a lot of textbooks available on the group. I also shared textbooks on VC Learn, but the recordings is a very good place, guys. I try and make it as simple as possible. I really am not very intelligent, so I try and keep it as simple so that I can even understand it. Okay. Right. Mads, yeah, no, I mean, there's no problem, man, with patience. Ladies, thank you so much for attending. I want to get into the gym. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday. If there's nothing else, obviously. It's a pleasure, Madeline. Oh, it's a pleasure, Ams. Have a good evening as well. Okay, it's a pleasure, Whitney. Cheers, everyone. Bye, Taquana. Have a good evening. Cheers, everyone.